Hey, hey, welcome back to another episode of Flavor and Fiction. Long time no see, guys. I haven't made a video since February, I think. And I just honestly, I didn't have the energy, just too much stuff going on. But I'm back for now. We'll see how long. And I'm really happy to get back into this. We have some catching up to do. I plan to try to do 2 videos a month, but I make no promises. For those of you who have not seen this segment before, Flavor and Fiction, what I do is at the end of the year, I create a reading challenge for myself and others for the next year. And as I go throughout the year, I pick a book to read and I give a short review, and then I also make a recipe that's either featured in the book or features an ingredient that's in the book. So you got your fiction and then you got your flavor and fiction. So I am so far behind in my 2022 reading challenge, yet I still had the nerve to pick a book that was not on the challenge to review for this. I called that a bonus read. So today I'm going to be reviewing this book, As the Wicked Watch by Tamron Hall. Give you a little look-see. Okay. And since the book, it follows a journalist who is, she's using her investigative skills to track down a possible serial killer. And so since the main character is following breadcrumbs, I decided that the secret ingredient would actually be breadcrumbs. Is that too corny? Whatever. Now, maybe it's because I haven't done one of these in a while, but I made a big mistake. And I was down in North Carolina visiting family, and I made crispy zucchini bites because that's the ingredient that uses breadcrumbs. And it wasn't until we were eating it that I realized I didn't film it. I didn't film me making, that's the whole point of this. So with the leftover breadcrumbs, I decided to make air fryer mozzarella sticks. Something simple, I thought. So I'll show you a picture of here what they're supposed to look like. And then you'll see at the end what they actually look like. But first things first, let's dive into this book. So Jordan Manning is the protagonist, and she's a TV journalist in Chicago who is, she's covering stories trying to give a voice to the voiceless. And that especially includes the Black girls and women who have been turning up missing left and right, or turning up dead. And she's trying to get as many of these cases solved as possible because they're not getting the attention that they deserve from the police or others, or even other news stations. So she's making that her entire effort. So one day, the body of a 15-year-old girl named Macy shows up, and she is really distraught because she covered Macy's story. I don't know if it's Macy or Maisie. She covered Macy's story when she first went missing. And, she really resonated with her mother. She connected with the girl's mother, and she wanted so badly to solve this case. So later, when the body turns up, she was a little ashamed of herself for not staying on the story, and she felt this need to get answers for the mother. And don't worry, I'm not going to give any spoilers. I'll just say that she has a hard time not becoming part of the story because she's so deep into the investigating, and it gets entwined with her family, with Maisie's family, with local politicians. I mean, there's a lot happening, a lot of twists and turns, but she gets a little too close for comfort in this story. I'm not going to tell you, give any hints as to who, what, where, what happens, but I can tell you, I was not able to predict the ending, and that's good because, when you're following any type of mystery, the reader likes to be able to put some of the pieces together themselves. But I have to be completely honest, I feel like the ending slightly missed the mark. I know what the book is trying to do. I know the message that it's sending, and I appreciate it. But I feel like, when you get to the end of the book and like the ending you had in your head, you think is a little bit better than the ending that you actually read. Oh, that rhymed. I'm a poet. That's kind of where I found myself. Like I had really high hopes because the story itself does keep you on your toes. It's interesting, like, you know, as you're going through it, and then it's kind of hurried to me at the end. It could have been flushed out a little better. So yes, the book does bring light to the epidemic of Black women and Black girls being kidnapped, being turning up missing, being killed. So I appreciate that a lot, but I wanted the ending to be more meaningful somehow. I wanted it to make a bigger statement. And I definitely give kudos to Tamron Hall. For those of you who don't know her, she is a TV journalist and even an Emmy award-winning talk show host. And I believe that this is supposed to be the first in a series. So we're going to see more of Jordan Manning and her mysteries. I'm sure, I'm feeling confident that the other books that follow will also feature, be centered around Black women and Black girls. So, you know, it was good enough that like, I do want to read the second book that comes out. Like it's good enough that I want to give it another shot. Maybe Jordan will do something different in the second book. So, you know, it's a good story and I think it's going to lead to bigger and better things. So I still say check it out. If you're very unsure, you know, get it from the library first so you don't have to pay. But if you do want to pay, I'll have a link to this and I'm going to have a link to the recipe that I'm going to show you. I'm going to have a link in the description so you can check both of those out. Okay, so you've had your fiction, now here's your flavor, kind of. I made, you know, the air fryer mozzarella sticks and I had a special assistant, my 3-year-old niece, Vivian, and I think she did a better job than I did. You know what, I'm just gonna let you see first, then we'll discuss. So as you can see, they sort of exploded in the air fryer. So after the first batch, because there was so much cheese at the bottom, after the first batch, I put a liner at the bottom of the air fryer, but they weren't cooking right. They weren't cooking fast enough. So I took the liner out and it did the same thing. They just burst. But my family liked it. They were like, you know, it looks a little wonky, but they taste good. So I would try this again, only I'd probably double dip like the egg and then the breadcrumbs, egg and breadcrumbs. And by the way, the recipe that I'm posting, it'll tell you to get plain breadcrumbs and then add a bunch of Italian spices, but I just kind of cheated and got Italian breadcrumbs. It made more sense to me. So give it a try if you dare. So don't forget that there is a link in the description to the book and to the recipe. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Flavor and Fiction. Happy reading and happy eating.